for two up-and-comers like you with a lot of potential and hype behind you to meet each other. Are you surprised that this fight was the one that was made?
No, honestly, I really don't care. It's whoever wants to take the fight and whoever wants to go out there and get a beating.
The difference for this camp is that you did the entire camp at Rufus Sport. I know last time you did a bit of cross-training. How did that go, and how did you blend in with the rest of the team?
The camp went great. I couldn't be happier. Getting to work with everybody at Rufus Sport, Ben Askren. I mean, it's been a huge help in my training.
Has Ben given you any tips on trash talking and all that? Because Ben's sort of the king of that, especially on social media.
I'm gonna keep that quiet, but he's definitely taught me a lot.
Yeah, and how good of a coach is he? I mean, we see him as this fighter,
Phenomenal.
but I know, yeah,
phenomenal. He's one of the best in the world, and it's an honor to work with him.
Excellent. And how about training with your brother? Is that you guys grew up together, but he's in the gym every day. How has that been? Just now, you guys are both chasing a dream.
Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier. My brother's 18. He had his first amateur fight. His name's Maycee Barber, and being able to train with him, he's been in every training session that I've gone to for this camp. And again, being able to train with people that I know have my best interest is incredible.
Are you surprised that this whole "I want to beat Jon Jones" thing has taken off so much? It's like every time you do an interview, you're asked about it, and it's an interesting.
No, because it's a feasible goal. It's a feasible and attainable thing that I have going on because I'm 21, and why not? Why not set big goals for myself?
But are you surprised that it's got so much interest from fans and us media? We always, it's almost like no one else has really just come in and said, "I want to do this," and that particular goal has got singular interest from people.
Honestly, I think it's interesting to people because I think they believe it. They believe it like I believe it. I have the ability, I have the age, and I have the skills to be able to do that. So, and it's a good story for people to follow along. It's something that people can follow along and see progress throughout the next 2 years. So it's kind of like watching a TV show. You can't wait to see the next step. So that's how it is.
Is there some big twist that we're not expecting in the TV show?
Oh, you can it's kind of like one of those predictable ones where you can expect me to finish these girls and beat them up and move on to the next.
You're clearly somebody who likes to plan ahead, kind of map out your road here. How many, I'm not talking an actual physical time, but how many more fights, how close do you feel like you are to getting achieving that goal?
That's kind of a hard question to answer because I don't know. I'm fine with fighting again. I'm fighting Gillian and I'm taking it this fight, and then I'll fight the next one, and if it happens to be 2 fights from now, if it happens to be 3 fights from now, I really don't care, as long as it's within my dates.
Did you feel like with the win over her, you'll crack the top 10 yourself, maybe get a top 10 opponent as well?
I believe I will crack the top 10, but as far as picking and choosing, I'm not trying to rush anything. I was just talking to the production team about that. I'm not trying to rush anything. I could technically, I believe that if I was offered the fight with Valentina tomorrow, I'd go in there and I'd truly believe that I could win that fight, and I'd go out there and do everything I can to win that fight, and I believe it would be a fight, and I believe that I would win that title. But why do it right now? Why not take the next couple years and not just go out there and fight her, but go out there and dominate her?
I get the impression you kind of enjoy this media stuff and showing yourself off. Are you sort of waiting for someone to come along and match you and be like, I'm going to stop her, she'll never get that record because of me? Would you have fun with that dynamic if an opponent came and gave you...
Go for it. That's what everyone wants to see. They want to see the rival. They want to see... Who wants to see 2 people go in there and be like, oh, I love my opponent, I think they're great, and who wants to see that? It's like the same boring old, there's no drama. The drama's what gets the fans, and yeah, I like that because it's fun. It keeps it entertaining and keeps you hungry.
Is there anyone in your division that you see who has that sort of X factor, who could play the villain role, or you could play the villain, they could be the hero, or whatever?
I've been told that I'm the villain right now,
so
I'm okay with that. I don't mind being the villain. But in all the divisions, I was just talking about how I'm potentially maybe back down at 115 eventually. So whether it's Valentino or Whaling, I truly believe I could fight both of those girls and win.
Gillian Robertson obviously has got a lot of potential, highly thought of, especially on the ground. But you brutalize females that have gone to the ground with you. Would you say to her that would be the biggest mistake if she tried to take it to the ground?
If she tries to take me down and I don't stop that takedown, then I wouldn't expect anything less than from me for this fight as well.
back to the Jon Jones thing. Jon Jones, a lot of people give him the title as the greatest fighter of all time. After you beat his record, is that the next title you're going to take from him? The title of greatest of all time?
I like how you stated that. After you beat his, not if.
I didn't want you to correct me.
That was great. That was great.
Yeah,
I like
that.
Yeah, you could call me that. I mean, there's a lot of people to compete with. There's a lot of phenomenal athletes and fighters to compete with. You know, Demetrius Johnson, Jon Jones. I mean, there's a lot of them to compete with for the greatest fighter of all time. And I feel like at 21, and even after I take that youngest title, there are still fighters out there who have done way more than I have, and they deserve the title of that until I can put in the work and take it from them too.
Say hypothetically, you run through her, everything changes in the division, somehow both Weili and Shevchenko's look for opponents. Hypothetically, Dana White says to you, you know what, you've been talking the game, let's see it. Pick one. Who do you want to fight? Which one are you picking?
Right away?
Yeah, right now.
I'd move back down to 115 and take that one first. Only because I really believe that like that's one that right now I could go in and just dominate that fight. Valentina would be a back and forth, and I truly believe I would take that title still. But I'd rather have it be a beatdown than a back and forth brawl.
You mentioned sort of being the villain now, and I know that's something that's sort of changed a little bit for you in your UFC career. How have you dealt with that from like a social media perspective? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people just wanting to tell you off and everything like that. How have you dealt with that?
In terms of social media from like just average people?
Yeah, just I'm sure you're getting a lot more feedback because there's a lot of Paige fans who I'm sure are coming after you as well with that whole thing.
I mean, if you're a supporter of a fighter, then you're going to support him all the way, and I respect that. But there's something to be said for like complete ignorance, and if you're just going to be like, oh well, Paige is just going to beat you up, I mean, you're just stupid and you're not thinking straight.
What gives you this confidence? I mean, you come in, other people don't talk the way you do. Where do you find that confidence?
I put in the work. I go out there and I find the best people that I can to train with. I go out there and I train. Not only do I train with them, but I put so many hours in with them. I'm not just like I don't just go into the gym and train for 2 hours a day and call it good. My whole day, every single day, is spent thinking about, okay, is what I'm doing today going to make me better tomorrow? Or is what I'm doing today going to make me better next week? So I obsess over it, and that's where it comes from, is I'm always trying to be the best that I can, and when you're always doing that, there's nothing but confidence when you're doing everything you can.
And obviously, you know, you're very young, and a lot of 21-year-olds would not be doing what you're doing right now. Have you lost like friends over the years just with, you know, because you've had to focus so much on the sport? Like, how have you dealt with the social side of your life, you know, trying to become the greatest ever?
Honestly, I think that there's a lot of people that don't understand. You know, it's hard to tell average minds what you're doing, and that's okay. You know, it's not for everyone. Mm-hmm. But over the years, I have found people, you know, within the gym and within the community of elite athletes. You know, I've had the opportunity to go and meet a lot of the NASCAR drivers and people from different sports,